Craig joined Dassault Systems SolidWorks Corporation as a product manager for SolidWorks in 2005 with over 22 years in the CAD industry. He has been a designer, a consultant, a CAD product manager, and a company co-founder. He has his BSME from WPI as a graduate of the General Electric Manufacturing Development Program. Welcome, Craig, and thank you for joining us today. It's all yours.
Great. Thanks, Amy, and hi, everyone. As Amy said, my name is Craig Terrian. I'm a product manager here at SolidWorks, and the presentation I wanted to give today is kind of an overall view of the entire SolidWorks product line. And then at the end, I'm going to delve into basically the main use of SolidWorks, the basic capabilities of creating 3D models of parts, assemblies, and drawings. So we'll get to that near the end. So first, before we get started, though, I want to find out a little bit about who's in the audience, if we could. So we have a couple of polling questions. First, please, if you could, let me know what you're currently using as a design tool. So are you using SolidWorks? Are you mainly using 2D CAD tools? Are you using 3D CAD tools but not SolidWorks? Do you mainly make drawings and design documentation by hand? Or do you currently not use formal design tools?
Great, Craig. We'll take just a few more seconds to answer, but so far it looks like about 40% use SolidWorks, 20% use 2D CAD tools, 25% use 3D CAD tools but not SolidWorks, and 10% are saying that they do not currently use any formal design tools.
Okay. So one of the things, SolidWorks is really a tool that helps you to meet your design and your business challenges. And right now, one of the biggest problems that you have is you have these multiple demands on you. You have this competitive situation that's out there right now, between the economy the way it is right now, and also your competition, whether they're locally or if they're overseas. And so what you try to do is build products that are more innovative. You build products that you can, when you're building your products, you always have to remember that you have a time constraint that's associated with that, whether it's a delivery schedule for a customer or if you're trying to beat a competitor in the market. And of course, cost is always a huge factor in this, that you have to hit your cost targets to maintain healthy profit margins in order to stay in business, of course. And there's always a balancing act. Can I create innovative new products? Getting them to market on time, getting them to market at the right cost. So if you look at what we typically see out there is what we call a serial development process. Typically it would be some kind of project definition, or that could be something you get from your marketing department as build this new configuration of a design, or tweak something on an existing design, or it might be actually an order or a proposal that you get from a customer. You have a detailed design area that you go through, either building 3D models or 2D drawings, or you might actually just kind of at that point dive right into manufacturing. For some people that don't really have a formal design process, they might start actually just building, measuring and building at that point. And also, a lot of people have a design validation period. Now that design validation period could be I build a first prototype and we test it and we redesign, or you may actually have formal software that you use to actually do some kind of validation. Technical communication, creating your manuals downstream, your parts lists, and maybe things for marketing that you can deliver, and also information that goes into manufacturing operations. So you get your drawings going there, and you have your assembly information. How do you put the parts together? Manufacturing operations also includes bills of materials, because you have to order those parts, and that's where purchasing gets involved. And then, of course, you have planning everything that's going to go down into the shop. So what SolidWorks tries to do with the product line that we have is to give you tools that allow you to compress that development cycle. So instead of doing things serially and having to wait for one portion of your development process to be completed before you start the other, SolidWorks tools allow you to work concurrently or to work simultaneously. So you can be, for instance, doing detailed product design, have somebody doing drawing creation, be at the same time working off the same design data, the 3D models, You can be doing design validation studies. You can be creating your technical communications at that point. And wrapped around this, you're kind of managing everything. And then manufacturing operations can be using this information. They can be accessing this data directly and viewing it and using this information on the shop floor. So by doing that, by working simultaneously and concurrently, you can compress the development cycle, which not only saves time, which is a big thing you want to do, but it also saves money. Now, another thing you could do, let's say time isn't as big an objective, but maybe quality is a bigger objective. What that does is it gives you the ability to do more iterations of your design faster in the same amount of time. So a lot of people say, I always use up all the time that I have. That's typical, I think, in engineering is if somebody says you have 6 months to work on it, you don't finish early. You keep working on it until you're done. But what you'll get in the end by being able to iterate the design, by being able to validate and test it and make it better, you'll get a better design in the end. So even if the time frame is the same, you're going to get a better quality product out the back end. And better quality might be it's more reliable, it functions better, I can deliver more parts out the back of my machine, or it may be it's a better design from the aspect of the way it looks, or manufacturability, or you've taken weight out of the model, or out of the design, you've decreased the cost by using different materials. So all of this plays in. If you have more time to do your job, all right, you can make a better design, or you can deliver it faster and you can save money. So what does SolidWorks do? It actually helps you make better design and business decisions by letting you do these things earlier in the process. So let's take a quick look at what the products are in the SolidWorks family, or what the areas of products are. So first we have our main area, which is design. That's mainly 3D part creation, assemblies, creation of 2D drawings, and now including 3D models with annotations. There's this new area that people are delivering models without doing 2D drawings right now, and they're sending them directly down to the down to the shop floor for manufacturing. So all that can happen in the design area. You have the simulation area, which is instead of having to do physical prototypes, you can actually use SolidWorks simulation software to see if the part's going to be able to take the conditions that you put it under when it's in real life. So we call that virtual prototyping. Instead of building a physical prototype, you can test the virtual or the software, the CAD model prototype. And with that, you can see if it's going to break. You can see if it's going to last. What's the how many cycles can this thing go through? You can see if you drop something, if it's going to break. You can do thermal analysis. We even have special modules for doing electronic cooling design and HVAC cooling design. Also, we have sustainability analysis. So you can see if your products are green products, if they're in line with your environmental constraints. And also we have the communicate area, which is if you have manuals and technical publications and things like that, that's the group of products that we call communicate. And finally, tying all these together, the way that you can manage all this data is through our PDM products. Okay? Now, to help you out in this, we have revamped our SolidWorks.com website just about a week ago now. So you can go to SolidWorks.com now, take a look at the website, and there's much more detailed information on each one of the packages that's in there. So I really highly advise that you go to the website, check out the detailed information. There's matrix information, so if you're wondering what is in each package in SolidWorks, there's matrix information. There are different levels of SolidWorks packages, so you can see exactly what's in each package. There's descriptions and also videos and images and things like that that will help you make decisions about, what tools are best for me at this time. Of course, there's also the resellers out there, so don't forget about them. Resellers can come in, the people who sell SolidWorks can come in directly into your company and give you live demonstrations of all the products and explain them to you in detail. All right? So SolidWorks is really for anybody, anything you design. I don't know I can't think of anything out there right now that SolidWorks isn't involved in, or any industry that SolidWorks isn't involved in. Our main industry, some of our main are industrial machinery is one of our main industries. We also have, right here, the industrial machinery, very large equipment, custom equipment. We also, people are designing product lines that may last years and years and years. So it's all over the board. There's one-off designs. There's things that are productized, and you build catalogs off of and things like that. So machinery, how people or what kinds of machinery get designed in SolidWorks is really a wide array. It's packaging equipment, it's industrial equipment, anything to do with machinery. It's a very natural fit for SolidWorks. Okay. You also notice that we're talking some huge assemblies here too. So one of the things you have to worry about when you're designing machinery is that machinery has a lot of components in it. All right. So in this particular example, we have about 15,000 unique parts. There may be as many as 100,000 parts, but 15,000 unique parts, that's a pretty large assembly. So you have to make sure that your CAD tools can handle large amounts of data, and that's something that SolidWorks has really focused on over the last few years, has been developing tools to help people who especially do machine design to develop, be able to build those massive assemblies that they need to build. Okay. Then medical is another real big up-and-coming area. You need to be able to do organic shapes. You need to do plastic part design, mold design, electronic wiring and cabling. You need to be able to do interference checking, and especially you need to be able to do simulation to make sure your products aren't going to break. You need some kind of regulated workflow, an environment that is that you can control the way things are developed. Okay. Because the medical industry has very strict guidelines how products should be developed and what milestones and what checks you have in place. And using products like SolidWorks EPDM allow you to meet those standards like they have in medical. Then we have like the consumer product area, and this is a great example. This is a Frank Muller watch. They're some of the most expensive watches and probably the most beautiful watches in the world. You're looking at a product here that has, believe it or not, fits on your wrist and has 1,500 parts in it. So just an example, another example of consumer products here, Burton Snowboards. They use our software. Here we are designing a very complex shaped binding, very ergonomic. You have to be able to handle this and actually test those models so that you can make sure the things that you're manufacturing are not only manufacturable, but they will stand up to the rigors that they will go through in the field. Okay. Just an example of automotive, I like these guys. I actually ride motorcycles, I ride Harleys. Baker Drivetrain actually makes aftermarket transmissions for Harleys, and this is actually their 7-speed transmission. I think they came out with one of the first 6-speed transmissions also. They use our products. They've seen dramatic changes in prototyping cycles, in rework. They've driven down their costs there. So, SolidWorks deals in a lot of industries. It deals with a lot of different processes, all the way from design through manufacturing, and actually conceptual design through all the way through manufacturing. So when you look at SolidWorks, you say, what does SolidWorks say? It's all of this, but it's you guys also. It's almost right now 2 million users. It's 170,000 companies that we're in. It's 80 countries we work in, but we all are united by one big thing. We're all the people that work at SolidWorks, the people who are writing the code, the people who are detailing and writing the specs and collecting the information and working with you, our tech support team. We're all engineers too, so we are really driven by one passion, which is design. All right, to make design easier, to make it better, so people can design better products. Now, before I get into the demonstration, just another quick question here. Which describes the job that you do most often at your company? So we have some options: mechanical designer, product designer, industrial designer, tooling designer, manufacturing process engineering, CAM, machining, maybe routing, CAD administrator, or engineering manager. So which best fits what you do most often? We know people a lot of times wear multiple hats.
Craig. We'll give people a couple more seconds to respond, but so far we've got about 60% are saying they're mechanical engineers or product designers. You have about 14% that do manufacturing process engineering, and about another 10% that do CAD admin or engineering manager.
Great. And then, since we said first, what's your second most often job that you do? If you could just fill that out quick.
So we know you guys have lots of hats that you wear, often, multiple responsibilities. So we're looking to see if you have secondary jobs that you do. So Greg, here it looks like we have a more even split. You still have a slight majority of mechanical engineers as their secondary responsibility, but almost even split across the rest of the other four.
Great, great. Okay, so just to get into the breakdown on, again, a little bit of the details on SolidWorks. So 3D CAD, when we talk about 3D CAD, we're really talking about parts, assemblies, drawings, creation of 2D drawings, checking for manufacturability, checking for interference. We even have cost estimation, so checking cost, all part of 3D CAD. When we talk about, we have a new product that we call electrical, and electrical just came out last year. That's used to create schematics, right? So people usually start a design when they're looking at a system or a process. They start with a schematic. So we allow you to do 2D schematics that then can flow down and tie into your 3D models. For instance, you can create 2D wiring schematics that automatically can drive routed cabling and wires in your 3D model. So this is a great new product. I advise, virtually everybody, machine designers, everybody has wiring and needs schematics. So take a look at this product. In the simulation area, we talked about, what simulation does, but one of the new products we've added is plastics. So simulating the injection molding process, checking for defects that would result, making sure that your process is right, making sure the design of your part is right, and it's manufacturable or moldable. So if you haven't seen this product, I advise highly to check it out, especially if you do plastic injected models or plastic injected parts. Next, technical communication. Again, user manuals, assembly documentation on the shop floor, marketing information that you might want to put up on your web. When you want that, check out technical communication area on the website. And when you're looking to manage all this stuff, control the workflow, work with multiple sites. So if you have multiple sites in different locations and you want to manage that data, Enterprise PDM, SolidWorks Enterprise PDM is what you're looking for. Finally, I want to talk on products. I want to talk about our partner products because they are absolutely critical to the entire development process. And specifically, I want to focus on one of the biggest areas, which is CAM. Right? Right now, there are 7 fully integrated CAM products that are gold partners for SolidWorks, which means their products are certified by SolidWorks and run directly inside SolidWorks. So it is, you're in SolidWorks, you hit a tab called, for CAM, for doing CAM, and you get the advantage of making your tool paths that are directly on top of SolidWorks models. If you make a change to the design, you can update your tool paths automatically. You don't have to translate data. You never have to worry about having a model that's out of whack with what the designers are using. It's a great productivity improvement. Minimum productivity improvement that we've seen by integrating your CAM is 25%. And we've seen up to 90% in some situations. So go to the website, look for CAD CAM Slam, and on SolidWorks.com, type it in the search here at CAD CAM Slam, and you'll find all the information. There's a series of webinars that were done last year, all related to integrated CAM inside SolidWorks. It's a great area for our partners. Also, you have your community support. Not only do you have SolidWorks and our resellers all over the world, you have 24/7 access to SolidWorks and also to our database, to our knowledge base, but you also have you have your community. You have the people who have user groups. Show up at SolidWorks World. I mean, I think, Amy, what is it? We had like last year about 4,500 people at SolidWorks World last year. By the way, SolidWorks World is coming up this week in Orlando. So, I'm sorry, next week, starting Sunday night. So if you want to get down there, sign up now to get down to SolidWorks World. So it's a great community, great input, and we rely on your input to make SolidWorks better through your enhancement requests, which get voted on by the community, all right, to put the things into SolidWorks that you are looking for. So SolidWorks is driven by you, our customers. Okay, now let's take a quick look, a quick video on how the basics of SolidWorks works. So as an example, I want to use the what we call the Homaltro spreader. And this is a device, Homaltro makes rescue equipment. This is one of those devices that if you get in a car crash or something and you need to bend metal, you put this device in and it can actually expand the metal. So you see in SolidWorks, I'm in what we call our assembly environment right now. And I can move my components around. And what I want to do is build the linkage that goes between the gripper and the rest of that plunger part on the spreader. So I'm just going to start a basic sketch. And if you're using 2D modeling right now, it's like you're making a view in a 2D drawing, right? So I'm just going to make my 2D model. But what I can do is add intelligent dimensions. That means my dimensions actually drive my geometry. So when I make a change to any of these things, that section, that thing that I sketched, updates in scale. Now I can take that sketch and I can just add depth to it. Okay, and there's a lot of ways to add depth. This is just extruding geometry directly. I also have these pick and place features, like here I'm adding some fillets. I can just go and say, put some fillets on this area right here, or put some holes in this area here. Now what I'm going to do is sketch a slot in this clevis, and I'm going to use a cut feature. Actually, what I can do is just pull the geometry. You see, if I go up, it's going to add geometry. If I pull it through, it's going to actually create a cut for me. Again, I add some fillets. Now I'm going to add the actual threaded portion of the clevis, extrude out. And I can actually add some threads and some holes. Here I'm using the hole wizard feature in SolidWorks to define what my hole will be. So here it can be a tapped hole of a certain depth. And I can also do external threads also. You see these show up as cosmetic features, and that saves time. You could also create the real threads if you wanted to. Also, you can reuse features that you created before. We call these library features. So here I'm dropping a library feature. It's an undercut, a relief cut, that I created before, and I want to reuse it again. I'll add some chamfers here to the model to make it more realistic. That's how we're actually going to manufacture it, and I'll tweak it a little bit. See how I was able to pick the dimension and move it to make that modification. So there's my 3D model. I'm going to save it as a new rod end, the name. And then what I want to do is make a drawing of that, make a part drawing. So in SolidWorks, it's really easy to make a part drawing. I select my format, and I can just drag on the views, or I can automatically project them right on the screen, right there. You see when it comes in, I can have the views be different. I can say this view is shaded, this view is hidden line, this one's no hidden line. I can also show all the dimensions that I just created in that model. And these dimensions are live. So if I make a modification to one of these dimensions, it will actually affect the 3D model. So I don't have to worry about my drawing and my 3D model being out of sync, because they are what we call associated. My model and my drawing are associative to each other. Right? So now I go in. There's a number of great detailing tools that allow you to quickly make a drawing, not only to put the dimensions on and the annotations, but to also clean them up. A lot of the time that you spend doing drawing creation is in cleaning up your drawing and in making it look good, making it look presentable and production worthy. You see here we have all our title block information. A lot of this information will fill in automatically. It pulls it in from the 3D model. The name of the product, maybe what material it is, all that can be automatically filled in when you bring that model in. Now I'm going to go to back to assembly mode, and I want to take that part I just created, and I'm going to assemble it into my model. You see that it automatically snaps in a lot of cases. We have these automatic capabilities to make assembly easier. I also have a search mechanism. I want to put a pin in here. I'm using SolidWorks Search, which is kind of like Google for SolidWorks. You type in what you're looking for, and it looks everywhere that you want it to look, either on the web or in EPDM, our data management system, or even on your desktop to find the parts you're looking for. I pop that part in. It automatically, I can even get it to automatically size. Here I'm using Toolbox which is 1,000,000 predefined fasteners that are provided with SolidWorks Professional. I'm going to drag that in, and you see how it automatically sizes to that pin. So now my clevis is complete. I've even got my retaining pins in there. Pop in some more pins. I copy those. It's almost like a cut and paste operation. I pick the configuration of the pin that I need, and I'm ready to go. Now, another powerful tool in SolidWorks is collision detection. You want to make sure, one of the main reasons that people go to 3D is to make parts that don't interfere and won't require rework when you go to manufacturing. So you can check for that. And here I've modified that part. I've made that slot deeper. Now when I check, I don't have any interference. You can also mirror components in SolidWorks. That's a real powerful tool. And when you mirror those components, when you mirror that geometry, it picks up all the intelligence of the other side of the model. So it knows that those grippers are supposed to open. Another great feature is the ability to explode an assembly and show people how an assembly is put together. So here I'm going through and I'm creating a sequence of assembly steps. Now I could replay this as an animation. I can save it as an animation. And I can also go in, create an assembly drawing, and I can put these views onto the assembly drawing, just like I did with the part drawing. So here I'm going to put in a view, and then I'm also going to explode that view. So here's my exploded view. Now you can also create your bill of materials automatically. I drop a table in. It's called the BOM table, a bill of materials table, and it automatically itemizes all the items. It can also automatically balloon note all the items. And the item numbers all match up with the balloon. So anytime I add a new component or remove one, they update. You can also add alternative views, alternative configurations. So any view you need or any information on a drawing, you can automatically you can get that stuff and put it in SolidWorks. You can create production quality drawings in SolidWorks. Okay? So that's a quick run through on kind of the basics of SolidWorks, our kind of parts assembly drawing demonstration. What I'd like to do now is just got a couple more questions, and then I'd like to get questions from you guys. So first, having seen what you saw today, what is your interest level in SolidWorks? So are you just browsing and looking kind of general interest? Are you beginning an investigation into looking at a new CAD system maybe? Comparing products, or are you actually ready to purchase?
Great, thanks, Craig. Just give people a few more seconds before we review and close out the webinar. Okay.
All right. And the next question is, would you like any further information from us? How can we help you? Do you need quoting or pricing information from a SolidWorks representative or reseller? Do you want a product demo on anything that you saw or anything that we talked about today? Would you like a salesperson to call you directly, or is there not nothing we can do for you at this time?
Okay, back to you.
Great. So I'd like to open up for any questions that you have right now. And